Ah yes, it's time for another album ranking. Today we are ranking Dir En Grey. Now in case you don't know, Dir En Grey are a Japanese metal band, and they have experimented throughout the discography, even some progressive metal, avant-garde, death metal, and even industrial gothic metal, and even metalcore, and even new metal. So they are a very experimental band. They have definitely changed the sound throughout the discography. Once was alternative rock and even you could say pop rock. One band transitioned into such a heavy fucking band, and you know what, Dir En Grey are one of the best Japanese bands in modern time, in my opinion. So I'm a fan of Dir En Grey, and I checked out all their albums, and I've been listening to Dir En Grey for about 3 years now because I discovered Dir En Grey on my reaction journey, and yeah, we reacted to a lot of Dir En Grey songs, reacted to also a lot of albums, but after my reaction journey, I definitely listened to Dir En Grey over and over again and love most of their songs. So this is going to be a really hard ranking, but you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Before I start, pop your favorite Dir En Grey albums in the comments below. So you know what? Let's get started. So coming in last is the album Gauze. Now this is a Visual Kei album, and this is when Dir En Grey were transitioning. Really good songs like Uroboros along with Rise and Dietrich, and then Cage is a great song, but there are a lot of pop elements throughout this album, and I really love the song Yokan. This is a good album. Kiso's vocals are very different. There are no death growls on this. There's just clean singing. It's just a fun fucking album. Like, this isn't a bad album per se. It may be a little bit long, but Gauze is a really good LP. And yes, they wear some outlandish outfits because they are a Visual Kei band, but they had definitely changed their looks throughout the next album. And the next album is none other than Macabre. Macabre is a great album overall, but I feel like it's their second weakest. It's like Dir En Grey were experimenting on this album, incorporating more experimental rock, alternative rock, and at times some progressive metal, but moving on towards the really heavy metal side of things. Kiso's vocals are very good on this. He incorporates a few growls on this, and Tashia's drumming on this is absolutely spectacular. Of course, you got the fantastic song Hydra, which is a masterpiece by Dir En Grey. KR Cube, Berry, Zakuro, fucking Kuro, how good is that song? And not to mention Tayo no Yao, wow. And of course you got Macabre, the self-titled track, which is so good, very mellow, melancholic, but damn, it does tell a story. And I love Kiso's vocals on this, don't get me wrong, but the album does lack cohesiveness, and this is why it's their second weakest album. Oh, I make up a little bit shit, but next up is The Marrow of a Bone. To me, this is a very experimental album by Dir En Grey. Dir En Grey completely shift their sound to that new metal, industrial, and even metalcore, deathcore sound. This album was my first Dir En Grey album. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. Like, I love the song Conceive Sorrow, Agitated Screams of Maggots, The Pledge, Reputation of Hatred, and Clever Sleazoid. But overall, the shock factor by Dir En Grey is gone on this album. I just feel like they tried to create this mainstream album for the American fans, and certainly they did, don't get me wrong, it's still a great fucking album, it really is, but there are some weaknesses on this, just like the overall production's not that great. Kiso's vocals are at times incredibly screechy on this. Like, his vocals aren't that great on this album like the previous albums, in my opinion. Like, even his vocals on Macabre are a lot better than Marrow of a Bone, and yeah, there's just a lot of screeching on this album by Kiso. At times it is a bit distasteful, but the riffs on this, man, the riffs are fucking great. The groove metal elements, the metalcore elements, like Disable Complexes has such an awesome new metal riff. And yeah, they tried to be like Slipknot, they tried to be like Korn, but in my opinion, it certainly did grab the fans, but listening to this album again, it's okay, but man, I love the more experimental shit by Dir En Grey. And surely this album was very experimental by Dir En Grey because they definitely changed the sound. Really new metal-y, it was really metalcore. But yeah, the next album is a little bit better. Next up is Whiffering to Death, and they incorporate industrial metal on this album along with gothic metal and a bit of lead and doom metal elements as well. And it's alternative metal. The song The Final is such an awesome song. It's got a catchy chorus. I love Kiyo's vocals on this. Spilled Milk, Beautiful Dirt, Kodo to end off the fucking album. Beautiful ballad. Just great guitar work. Some fantastic drumming by Toshiya, and not to mention groovy riffs. It does at times have some industrial elements like I die in loneliness, therefore I am lonely, and a lot of emotion conveyed on this album. I just prefer other LPs other than Withering to Death. But overall, Withering to Death is solid as anything. It's also got an atmospheric, melancholic feel as well. Production's pretty good, but yeah, Withering to Death is solid. Next up is Vulgar, and this is one of Dir En Grey's best fucking albums. It really is. I love Vulgar, Audience Killer Loop, The 3D Empire, Shokabini, Red, R to the Core, Drain Away, New Age Culture, and not to mention the controversial music video of Obscure. Has anyone seen Obscure? I think it's talking about abortion. Kid is basically eating a fucking embryo. The music video is so damn brutal. If you haven't checked out Obscure, the uncensored version, watch it now. Stop this video and watch it now and come back. What do you think? But Obscure is so damn... And Katsumi is such an awesome soft song by Dir En Grey. Absolutely love it. Great moments. Love the guitar tone on this. The Toshiya's drumming is on point, and Kiyo's vocals, of course, are just batshit crazy as always. Alternative metal at times, incorporating a bit of new metal riffs, but not as new metal-y as Marrow of a Bone. A few industrial metal elements, especially with the electronic elements, and just a grainy sort of production at times. But yeah, this is a very good album by Dir En Grey, one of their best. Next up is their previous album, The Insulated World, which was released in 2018, and I remember I reacted to the whole fucking thing. And I think it got like 5,000 views or something. I mean, it was a huge hit. And unfortunately, Dir En Grey took it down. This album's fantastic. This is definitely one of the most heaviest fucking albums. It's proggy, it's avant-garde, and Kiyo's vocals are just absolutely batshit crazy. Songs like Devote My Life, Kababitsu Hajimari, Udafumi, Veils of Madness, Downfall Followers, and Zetsuentai, which is like 7 minutes. This is a really good album by Dir En Grey, and it's just caked with static. There's a lot of static moments on this album, along with just the intense proggy elements, the odd time signatures you were getting, and this is a really cool experimental album, and Kiyo's vocals are just, his growls are incredible. Fantastic album. Next up is Dum Spiro Spero. This album runs about nearly close to 70 minutes, and this is definitely one of the most avant-garde metal albums by Dir En Grey. It's proggy, there are elements of death metal, and there's also elements of groove metal. Really awesome riffs on this, like songs like Different Sense, Amon, then you got Dreambox, In a Covetous Nest, Lotus, Diabolos. His vocals on Diabolos are just absolutely incredible. It's melancholic, it's doomy, especially that song Diabolos. The fucking guitars, and then it just hits you right in the fucking face with his growls. His growls are fucking incredible on this, just intense. And you got songs like Vanitas. This album's so dang good. It is one of my favorite albums by Dir En Grey. I absolutely love it. I want to buy all the Dir En Grey albums, I really do, but they're so hard to find, especially in nowadays. But yeah, Dir En Grey, Dum Spiro Spero is definitely one of their best. One album I grab a little bit more is none other than Uroboros. I love the album cover on this. The album cover is so damn good, and Insulated World has a great album cover as well, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Uroboros is fucking fantastic. Venushka, the 9-minute masterpiece. The music video is so damn in your face as well. It's all about World War II, just the terrible things. I love the music video. Red Soil, Toguru, Glass Skin, Stuck Man is such a fantastic song as well. Dozing Green, The Inconvenient Ideal, just so many amazing songs on this. And Venushka is one of my favorite songs by Dir En Grey. There's so much emotion conveyed within Kiyo's vocals on this. This is quite a progressive album, and this was This was after the Marrow of a Bone, which in my opinion is way weaker than Uroboros. Dir En Grey decided to go back to their roots, being inspired by power metal elements, alternative metal elements, industrial metal elements, prog metal elements, avant-garde metal elements. There's just so much happening on this. In Venushka, you got some great moments, you got some great guitar work, you got some great guitar work from something out of power metal. You even got some black metal elements throughout this album, death metal elements, and his vocals are just on a different level on this, and overall tone, the overall production, it's just one of the best albums, it really is. And this is a refined sound by Dir En Grey. This, in my opinion, is one of their perfect albums. It really is. Because they are going back to the roots, they're going to improve what they did in Macabre, what they did to Withering to Death, Vulgar, but incorporate more heavy, grinding, melancholic moments such as Euroboros. Fucking love it. It's one of the best. Next up is one of the most spookiest fucking album covers I've ever seen. It's Archie. Archie, I don't know how to pronounce it. Phenomenally scary. It's very atmospheric in tone. There is just so much emotion within Kiso's vocals. It's progressive metal. Their songs are just caked with just atmosphere. Great songs like Rinakaku, along with Chain of Repulsion, Magayazo, Behind a Vacant Image. What a great song that is. The Inferno and the Revelation of Mankind, again running about 70 minutes, because it refines their sound and it's so much heavier. This at times reminds me of Withering to Death. It's Euroboros times 100. It really is, with elements of everything that I have mentioned within Dir En Grey's discography is all in one. And even some visual kei elements are on this album. Some really catchy choruses, like Sound of Waves has a really catchy chorus, Yoroko. So many great moments on this album, and Archie is one of my favorites. And finally, my number one Dir En Grey album of all fucking time is none other than Kiso. Yes, I love it. I love it. This is so fun. Songs like Embryo, 24 Cylinders, the beautiful fucking catchy chorus, ballad, Undecided, Mushi, Jessica, Karasu, Painkiller. Oh, this is fantastic. It's got experimental rock, it's alternative rock, it's also industrial at times. At times, Kiso incorporates harsher vocals on this. Not as great. His vocals are still fantastic, but it's just the songwriting on this, man. Kisu is just my favorite Dir En Grey album. I always want to listen to Kisu. I actually don't know Dir En Grey's most popular album. I'd say The Marrow of a Bone is the popular album, but Kisu is just is in my heart. I absolutely love this album. I really do. Yeah, Kiso's vocals are fantastic. Not to mention, you get Tashia's best drumming on this. You also get Karu's best guitar work and Dai's best guitar work as well. It's just a fusion of what Dir En Grey sounds like and what Dir En Grey sounds like in the future as well. There are some darker moments, melancholic moments, atmospheric moments, gothic metal moments, doomy metal moments, just even death metal moments as well. There's just so much happening on this album. And Kisu is my number one Dir En Grey album of all fucking time. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this album ranking. Are you going to check out this band or not? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? Keep discussion on in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.